Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Coins Reaction Zone in another episode of the What's New Scooby-Doo movies. So these kinds of movies, they're kind of hit and miss for me. I've had 2 misses so far and 3 hits pretty much, where I really enjoyed Dynamic Scooby-Doo Affair, Wednesday Missing, and Freaky Fracas, but Guess Who's Not Coming to Dinner really didn't make it for me. I just didn't really care for the comedy. Was very old school, which is obvious since it was from the 70s and 80s, but just changing the costumes and stuff, like, it was kind of just lost on me, I guess you could say. Wasn't very interesting. Didn't really do it for me very much, which is why I gave last episode a 3 out of 10. I will be doing ratings as well as I move forward. Like, after the end of a season, I'll do like a rating thing. I still need to do that for Where Are You? Just haven't got around to it yet. Trying to stay ahead on What's New Scooby-Doo movies, but they're probably going to be a bit late overall. This episode was released on October 14th, 1972. It's called A Good Medium is Rare. This was one of the more popular episodes. This is episode 6 of this season. Statistics so far, we did have one new weird food item last episode, which I labeled as a club sandwich with bread, peanut butter, ham, sharp cheddar, jam, and then topped with salt, pepper, mustard, ketchup, pickles, and banana. No property damage for anybody and no Scooby snacks eaten for anybody. So kind of a weak season stats-wise, which also lowering the fun of the season for me, to be honest. We're just going to get right into it. So the gang meet Phyllis Diller, a popular comedian from this era. Someone is after her jewels and it's up to the gang to find out. And no real trivia for this episode, but it is a pun on how one can cook meat, usually steak. In real life, Phyllis Diller was actually only married twice, to Sherwood Diller and Ward Donovan. And then at the time she appeared in this episode, she was married to her second husband. And then all but one of Diller's fictional husbands are named and seen. And then she passed away on August 20th, 2012. So the gang are walking out of a movie theater where Shaggy is frightened by the films they just watched. They had attended a double feature of 2 movies, including The Island of Ghosts and The Creeping Phantom. Outside, they find a poodle with a diamond collar. And on the dog track, they find an address, so they return the poodle. They find a big creepy house with a talking gargoyle. They are invited to the house by Lucas, the butler, who calls for the castle owner, who the owner turns out to be Phyllis Diller, who is introduced with a cigarette in hand. Looks like we're gonna have several suspects. Phyllis promises the gang a generous reward and goes on to explain the hallways from an ancient castle. And then inside the hallway, they hear a banshee wail. Velma writes it off as a win. Shaggy spots a lot of weirdness that they are being watched, but they don't rarely react to any of it. Lucas then calls the butler on Mrs. Diller and brings him to the library that has been torn up and vandalized. Phyllis explains that she has a hidden stash of jewels and that there's a bag with the initials MM on them. Before they can expect further, the thief stashes and runs away. Alright, now they're in the graveyard looking for those jewels. Yeah, there's the gargoyle that's actually moving. So we have several. We have Lucas the butler as a suspect.
I think someone's behind us. Yes!
And then, that's funny.
Now I'm going to tell you who was after my jewels. It was him, the ghost of my 4th husband, Rudolph.
Rudolph?
Ghost of her 4th husband, Rudolph.
They called him Rudolph, the red-nosed rainmaker. He was always after my money. Right, Lucas?
Right, milady. Miss Diller's a nice lady, but I think she's driving on 3 wheels.
Well, somebody with the initials MM is after her jewels.
Okay, so here's our second suspect.
I am a magician. My card. The great Misto. I have an important message for
Misto.
from the spirit world.
I'm Phyllis Diller. Oh, isn't he handsome? What's the matter, love? Haven't you ever seen $1 million in diamonds before?
Oh, so he's also interested in them jewels. So we have Lucas the butler and Misto the
I
magician.
bring you a message from Madame Zokar, who talks to all the spirits.
And then Madame Zokar.
Heard of Madame Zokar. She has a hotline to the other world.
Ah, yes. Madame Zokar has been in touch with the spirit of your first husband, Wilbur. He wishes you to come to the magic mansion at once.
You don't say. Well, have Madame Zokar tell Wilbur to
So now they're going to a different
I
location.
shall expect you, fair lady. Ah, good evening, Miss Diller.
Alright, so
Zokar, the spirit lady.
we got the doorman,
Indeed. Madame
Alberto.
Zokar is in the dreary dungeon. That's just below Terror Terrace.
So since he's named, he's going to be another suspect.
You like it. It's the most awful room in the place. Just follow the ghost. Come in, Madame Zokar.
Oh, I was never sure this was the right dungeon.
So a super confused magic lady.
Thank you, dear boy. I will look into the crystal ball and...
She's all over the place.
Maybe it's a trance.
Madame Zokar.
Oh, yes, what? Oh, yes, the spirits. The vibrations of the spirit world are coming through. The ghosts are arising. The ghosts are rising. Calling the spirit of Miss Diller's 3rd husband. Come in, 3rd husband.
Psst, no, wrong number, operator.
I am your 3rd husband.
Like I said, honey, that's the wrong husband. The message was from Wilbur. He was number 1.
Oh, dear. Oops,
Oh,
I'm sorry. Go
nice.
Number 3. Go back.
I am Wilbur, your first husband.
It's him, all right. Isn't that a gas?
she going on?
How's everything
Yeah, no
over
crap.
I'm worried.
How is she touching him? That's so random.
Yes. Are you sure they're in a safe place?
You better believe it. They're hidden where no one will find them.
Everybody's watching, all 4 suspects.
You can tell me.
Well, they're in the wall safe behind your picture in the living room. And it can be opened only at the stroke of midnight.
Ah, excellent.
How does that stroke of midnight thing work? And it seems like everybody's on the same team, all 4 suspects.
Now this.
It does make it more interesting though that there's
Now
4
everybody in this room
suspects.
knows where the jewels are.
You're right. We have to get Miss Diller out of here and fast.
Madame Zokar could be working with the other 2 magic musician people.
How do we get out of here?
I don't know.
There's got to be an outside door along here somewhere.
Yeah, that skull, glowing skull's pretty obvious. But they just walk past it.
No one gets out. Lock everything.
They all want the jewels. Yep, they were able to escape the magic mansion.
All we have
Easy
to do is
peasy.
follow the road. There's nothing to stop us.
Kind of a worthless part, to be honest. Okay, so there is 2. So there could be 2 suspects working together. So my initial guess, I think, is Alberto the doorman and Misto the magician. I think they would be good. I think Madame Zakar is too confused. That might be like a really good disguise. But the Mystery Gang has always said that the butler does it, but I feel like in this case he didn't. So my initial guess is going to be Misto, the magician, and Alberto the doorman.
I blew it again.
Freaking blew the bridge levers.
Drive up.
It was, I guess, completely fine.
Hey, we're back on the road. Talk about lucky. Somebody in the group besides us.
Who is it?
You there? All right, nobody move. I'll light a match. What are you doing here?
Just making a curtain call.
Misto.
Well, we know he's in the house.
Okay,
Come on, we've got to find Miss Diller.
so they know Misto's here.
Miss Diller.
Alright, so there's the 2 ghouls, so they're also running around.
Excuse me. Have you seen a guy and 2 girls?
Yep, those 2 ghosts, okay.
You get the kid with the 2 dolls. I'll get the other 2.
Okay, so a different accent as well. Down the laundry chute, easy peasy. Let's do it.
That masked guy to catch you?
Way to hide from the ghosts. So, from the body type and just the general vicinity, I think Misto would be too obvious.
Here they come.
But Misto's the best bet I have at the moment, is Misto and the doorman, Alberto. I do like that they're talking to each other and making plans, though. That's what I missed in Scooby-Doo, of like the different banters and interactions. Also, all their eyes changed when they got out of the laundry baskets. And then, of course, they put on sheets to be ghosts. That's funny. Oh, Madame Zokar's here, too. Okay, so everybody's here. I think Madame Zokar is another one that she doesn't have enough style, because it's only 2 suspects. So I don't think it would be... They're both male voices. Could be good at changing their voices. But I don't think it's Madame Zokar. But Lucas, he hasn't been around in a while either. So it could be a hidden Lucas as well. No,
Come on, we've got to
I'm not.
find
I'm
those
gonna
guys.
stop. It's gonna be Misto and Alberto.
Lost them, Fred.
I'm afraid so.
Miss Diller.
I do like all the spooky kind of happenings though, and the interactions in the banner between the ghosts. It's not really banner, just talking to each other.
I swooned as a lady should. Then I woke up when the clock struck the quarter hour. On my head.
Okay, so they were able to go into the safe.
All right, let's see who you are.
Wow, the cops got here pretty quick. Oh,
You naughty person.
they unmasked them pretty quick.
From
Holy
Magic
crap.
Mansion.
Yes.
It was Alberto.
Too, if those kids hadn't butted in.
But who called the police?
The lady next door said she saw some kids breaking in the house.
That old witch is always spying on
I
me.
guess that works.
Bitterly jealous, you know. Lucas, whatever happened to you?
They locked me in the linen closet.
Oh, okay, so that's why he was gone.
I came over to keep an eye on my little wife, Madame Zokar.
Well, I guess that wraps up the mystery.
Whoa, Lucas is married to Madame Zokar?
A proper reward.
Thank you, Miss Diller, but no thanks.
Then I guess it wasn't Misto. So the other guy that was unmasked, I saw briefly since they cut away, but it was the doorman, the guard that stopped them whenever they were trying to escape inside the boxes. It was the guard that stopped them.
Try.
His eyes are all crossed and weird.
I think we got him in time. We'll be able to save him.
Oh, mercy, bone dude.
Okay, it wasn't a bad episode. I like that one. It had some fun moments. There was no stats this episode, but it definitely was an interesting one. This episode wasn't scary at all, but it was a bit crazy, and so I enjoyed it a lot, actually. I feel like the jokes for me were a bit hit and miss. The bridge operator, like the breaking the bridge thing, he was pretty incompetent at his job, but overall kind of a weirdo. I really liked that the 4 suspects thing with Lucas, Madame Zokar. They didn't really explain what happened with Misto the magician at the end there. The guard we did see, so it wasn't just one of the main bad guys having a henchman like in previous episode. He was the one that was trying to stop the gang from escaping through the boxes, so that was a good one. I feel like though that the suspects all wanted the jewels in different ways, but it only being one bad guy and then like one that wasn't even named kind of messed up, especially since 3 of the suspects, sorry, not bad guys, worked at the Magic Mansion. So it could have been Alberto and Misto and would have been fine. But having Madame Zokar and Lucas the butler tied together was an interesting twist. That they were married, they kind of just brushed it over pretty quickly at the end there, and that he was just looking out for her, making sure she was okay. She was just kind of a weird, confused lady. I did like some of the interesting spooky moments of like different traps and stuff. Was interesting, just not interesting overall for the main series. There was too many characters wise, as in like, I feel like that it should have been another one of the suspects and not just the guard like I mentioned. But overall, it was still pretty fun to see everybody put together. And I definitely think this is one of my favorite episodes of the new Scooby-Doo movies, just because I really love that there's so many suspects to choose from and that it could be any combination of the characters. Made it really fun. I feel like Phyllis Diller was a bit crazy, really helped out the episode. So I think I'm going to tie this one out with the Dynamic Scooby-Doo Affair at 6.5. I feel like it made it really fun. I don't think for me it's as good as Wednesday is Missing because I love the Addams Family comedy. Actually, no, let's do this. I'm going to increase Addams Family to 7.5 and I'm going to put Good, Medium, is Rare at a 7 out of 10. I think that'll be a good score for me, because I really enjoyed it, and I really thought everybody worked well together. But I think the Addams Family comedy suited the Scooby-Doo gang a lot more, with that kind of dry humor that they're reacting to, since Fred had seen the live-action version of the Addams Family. But for Good, Medium, is Rare, I feel like that the crazy moments and the mini suspects, I feel like really suited well and really made it interesting to guess and have fun with the episode. So I think that's going to do it for me for this section of Scooby-Doo reactions for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time for the next 3. Have a great day.